So the Kylian Mbappe saga is finally about to reach its end, and we will be talking about it. We'll discuss a few points which I think are important and are not being talked about. Firstly, we'll discuss what does Kylian Mbappe leaving PSG means for European football. Secondly, we'll discuss if there's any other club apart from Real Madrid that can sign Kylian Mbappe. Thirdly, we'll discuss Real Madrid's case. We'll discuss if there are any reasons that could still block Mbappe's move to the Spanish capital. And if Mbappe joins Madrid, what would that mean, where would he play, and how good that team can potentially be. Now without any further ado, let's begin our video. So first up, Mbappe has finally decided to leave PSG, and it's a big deal, not only for the club he's going to join, but for European football as well. Why do I say this? You see, these kind of moves are not normal. It's gonna be a special transfer which do not happen in every other transfer window, and it's a good thing for football. You see, while I record this video, Mbappe has already scored 24 goals this season. How many have you seen? So my point is, Ligue 1 is not the most popular, neither the most competitive league in the world. And he has played his part there, won everything in France. Now it's time to move on. And him moving on will see a downfall in the French football viewership and the global fan base of PSG. It would also mean whichever league that he joins now, which most probably will be La Liga or maybe Premier League, will increase its viewers and their value in the process. And La Liga, after Messi and Ronaldo have left, have lost the vibe that it had. And a player like Mbappe can definitely bring back the excitement. And now, I'm gonna compare him with some other players, and that will give you some context as to what this move can be in terms of European football context. Right now he's arguably one of the best players in world football. So what happens when a player of such caliber joins any club? They create history. You have a recent example of Erling Haaland. City has been a great team for some time. Guardiola has been a great coach. They won almost everything, played some glorious football, thrashed some great teams out there, but could not win Champions League for their life. And Haaland, who has been one of the best finishers out there, joined Manchester City and they won everything. City joined an elite club of treble winners, and that's one for the history books. Now before you start thinking that if Mbappe is so good, he could have won a Champions League for PSG, you see there's a difference. Haaland joined a team, a well-drilled team, whereas PSG has been a group of stars playing together. Now for my second example, I want to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo joining Real Madrid. Now we understand how good Real Madrid has been throughout their history and how important Champions League trophy has been for them. Their fans refer to Real Madrid as Reyes de Europa, that means Kings of Europe. And since 2003-04 season, they were not even able to qualify the round of 16. Can you imagine that? But yes, it happened. They called upon the likes of Robben, Sneijder, Van Nistelrooy, Robinho, Michael Owen and many more. But they were not enough. And then came in Cristiano Ronaldo. And yes, it took them some time to build a team around him, but once it was done, you know what happened. They won the Champions League 4 times in 5 years, 3 times in a row. It was the first time it happened in the new UCL format. They were one of the most feared team across Europe, and no football fan can forget that. Another one for the history books. We can go down the history lane and talk about the players like Maradona and what he did for Napoli, because of which they have their stadium named after him. Or we can go further back to remember players like Alfredo Di Stefano. He joined Real Madrid and won everything for them, including 5 European Cups in a row. But you get my point. Players like these, when given the right environment, they have potential to create footballing history. And yes, Mbappe was a Paris-born kid. He wanted to play there and win for them, but I cannot stress enough about the fact that he was not in a right footballing environment. And his decision now about which project he will choose, which team he will go to, will have an effect in European football history. Which brings us to my next point. Is there a case here for any other team apart from Real Madrid? Let's see. Now I understand that there have been reports suggesting that he has already signed with Real on a 5-year deal, but this time I'm not gonna believe anything unless it's an official comunicado from Real Madrid or a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. See, first up I'll make this clear that the ball is in Mbappe's hand and he can choose which team he wants to go to, given the fact that he receives an offer which he's satisfied with and is convinced with the team's project. First up, let's talk about Liverpool. Now I'll say this straight, if Jurgen Klopp were there for next season and they were ready to offload some money to bring him in, Liverpool could have been a very realistic option. But right now, we don't know who's gonna be the next manager. The positions in the attack are stacked up and they don't really have the strongest of midfield or defense. So I don't think Liverpool's gonna be an attractive project for him. But if Xabi Alonso joins Liverpool and is able to convince Mbappe to join them before he signs for Real Madrid, maybe then there's a chance. But right now, Liverpool's not one of the contenders. Now let's talk about Manchester City. A great team, great coach, have great players, won everything last year. And City is also one of the few teams who can match the wages PSG were offering to Mbappe. But I don't think City would be that inclined to bring in Mbappe. I understand he's a great player, every team would want him to play for them, but City right now is a team that's well settled. They don't really need Mbappe, plus they have Erling Haaland. So convincing him to join City and then creating a system to fit both Haaland and Mbappe is going to be a complicated task, which can disrupt the team's harmony and of course the wage structure as well. So Manchester City and Mbappe, I don't think it's going to happen. Now regarding Arsenal, Arteta has been doing good, and he of course have said that they would want to be in the race for him, and a forward like Mbappe would help them immensely. But if you look at Arsenal, they are not known for spending big on the player wages, and even if they do that, they've just been good for a couple of years. So convincing Mbappe about their project would be hard. So Arsenal, I don't think is going to be an option. Now Chelsea is not in the best place right now. Their manager, their owner, their players, their project, nothing aligns at this point. So Chelsea also cannot be an option. Now can Bayern Munich be attractive? Biggest club in Germany, plays attacking football, have European pedigree, plus Thomas Tuchel. Mbappe has played under him before. But you see, Bayern just signed Harry Kane on 100 million, and they are not known for buying superstars every year. Plus their football this season has been poor. So I'm not sure if Tuchel's gonna continue next season, but Mbappe would be convinced to join them. Although he can join Manchester United and win the league for them and show the world what he's capable of. Okay, let's stop it. As we all know, United has been on a downward spiral for a long time, and for any player to join them at the peak of their powers is not advisable at this point. Now about Barcelona, they're a great historic club, they have a great academy, Messi played for them, but there's this phrase we use in India which goes like, Chaddi big jayega, which means something is so unaffordable that buying that would mean selling everything including your underwear, and that's the kind of financial situation Barcelona are in. So now we'll talk about Real Madrid. Now I understand that he's most likely to join Madrid. Marca even reported that he has already agreed terms, but there's nothing official yet, and in football, things can change in seconds. So we'll look at some reasons which can prove to be roadblocks in this transfer. So Mbappe's mother Faiza Lamari was recently put in a position where she was asked that Mbappe earns a lot of money and how important would that be while making the decision for his future. Now her response, and I'm paraphrasing here, was there is no guilt in earning the money he earns, and the money he earns is because he deserves it. Now that's fine, but she also said we would have taken 10 billion if that were offered to us, and it's because it is the system that demands it. Now, pardon my French, but that line about the system, I could not understand. But what I can make out from her statements is that she wants her son to earn a lot of money, and I understand, and she's a mother and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem with this situation is, Mbappe's mother is his agent as well, so she would obviously influence his decisions, and PSG in terms of money have spoiled them. And as confirmed by every reporter in this industry, Madrid will be offering him lesser wages and lesser signing on fees than what they offered him in 2022. So how does the higher-ups in Madrid negotiate with Faiza Lamari will be a big factor. Because they don't break their wage structure, Mbappe won't be their highest earner, and unlike in PSG, he's gonna be a part of the team. And I personally think that Mbappe would be fine with that. But his camp and his mother will have to accept terms, and that can be a factor which can potentially complicate things. Now second point, Kylian really wants to play in the Paris Olympics 2024. Now that will take place before the season starts, and Madrid would want their marquee signing to be with the squad for the pre-season tour, not only because he will be the main attraction in the pre-season, but they would also want to get Mbappe used to the way Madrid plays, and other players in Madrid understands and adjust to Mbappe's game before the season starts. Now let's see who's gonna convince who, but this will also be a concerning factor. Okay, my next point is, Cadena Ser recently reported that Mbappe has given 3 demands to join Real Madrid. First of which is, he would want a salary of close to 50 million euros. Now the highest earners at Real Madrid is Toni Kroos at 46 million, then David Alaba at 43, then Luka Modric at 42, then comes Vinny and Bellingham. Now I don't think he's gonna get a salary of 50 million euros, nor he's getting paid more than Toni Kroos. So let's see what happens there. Now his second demand, according to Cadena Ser, is Mbappe wants a signing bonus which is close to 120 million euros. Now that's a big number. Now would Real Madrid be willing to pay that? Well, they would have paid more to PSG if he was not coming in for free. Now I don't think Madrid's gonna pay 120 million, but they will pay Mbappe a decent signing bonus. And I think they'll be able to find a common ground with regards to signing on bonus fee. Now his third demand can complicate things. Mbappe wants to retain a decent percentage of his image rights. And Mbappe is quite serious about this. I don't know if you remember when Mbappe had a feud with the French national team when they had to shoot for KFC and Mbappe didn't want to do that. So basically, he's quite serious about his image rights. And Real Madrid have this rule where they offer 50% rights to the players. And they've just once in their history broken this rule. And that was for Cristiano Ronaldo. And that too after he stayed there for some years, became the best player and proved his loyalty. So I was not under this impression that Madrid's gonna bend their rule for Mbappe, but there are some reports that are suggesting that the club could allow Mbappe a 60-40 split in his favor. Now would the club do that, and will Mbappe accept those terms? We'll have to wait and see. Now assuming that Mbappe signs for Real, let us see how the Real Madrid team would look like and what can be expected from them next season. Now before we break down the team and the probable lineup, I think there's a reason why Mbappe is more willing to sign for Real this time around, and it's because of this man. Carlo Ancelotti, with committing his future for Real Madrid, has brought in a stability in this club. Now if I'm Mbappe, I'm already seeing that Real Madrid not only have some of the best players in the world, but the way Ancelotti has been managing them this season is nothing short of exceptional. He has managed them in a way which has kept all of the players mostly satisfied, and he's getting the best performance out of all of them. The way he has improved Vinicius and took Bellingham's game to another level, tweaked the formation to fit everyone in, all of this would have factored in his decision-making process. Now let's see how the team would look like. Now Madrid can play a 4-3-3 to fit Rodrigo with Vinicius and Mbappe up front, but that means they'll have to bench one of their midfielders. And that's why I think the most probable lineup next season will be a 4-4-2 with Bellingham playing in midfield as a number 10 and Vinicius and Mbappe playing up front. Now everyone knows that Mbappe's preferred position is on the left wing and Madrid's left winger is Vinicius Jr. and I'm quite sure that both of them will be able to play together. You see, Mbappe has been playing up front as a striker this season and he's doing quite well, scored many goals. I don't see any problems with his game. In fact, Vinicius also has not been playing as a proper left winger this season. He has been playing like an inside forward operating from the left. Both him and Rodrigo are playing as a double striker with not any specifically fixed positions. They are making wide runs and also operating from the inside as per the game demands. They are playing more of a free role and that's how I think Mbappe is going to operate. And I think when you have talented players and a coach who can make things work, this style of play can be very beneficial for Real Madrid. Now of course the second option they have is to play a 4-3-3 with Vinny on the left, Mbappe on the right and Rodrigo as a striker. And this also is a lethal combination up front. But with this formation, they may have to sacrifice the qualities of Jude Bellingham that we are seeing this season. But again, with Ancelotti, you never know. He can still find a way to fit all of them in and get the best out of them as well. So overall, this is how I see Real Madrid playing next season. Courtois on the goal, with Carvajal on the left wing, Rudiger and Eder Militao as centre backs, and Ferland Mendy or Alphonso Davies as the left back. Yes, I think Madrid will be able to bring him in as well. Their midfield will have Valverde, Tchouaméni, Jude Bellingham and Camavinga as their starters. And if Toni Kroos renews his contract, he will start in place of Camavinga. And up front, most probably, will be Vinny and Mbappe. I can imagine them sometimes playing with 3 players up front, with Rodrigo coming in, but mostly, this is how I think the formation would look like. They'll have great players in every position, they'll have a free-flowing attack, a midfield which can control games and can snatch the ball out of any team, and a good defense. And I really think Real Madrid will be one of the strongest teams next year. And these were the points I wanted to discuss with regards to Mbappe's transfer. You can like the video and subscribe to Football Ledger, but most importantly, share your thoughts. I have very few subscribers and I respond to every comment I get. And I would love to discuss about what you guys think about Mbappe's situation. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one. Ciao.